right, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when these notes find you. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope these notes go really smooth for you, and I hope you're able to learn. As usual, let's remind ourselves of the scientific problems of this chapter. So for ecology, who to kill, this chapter, we have our three problems here. And problem number 1 is, how will species extinction impact a community of organisms? We'll learn more about this today. Number 2, it says, how do our bodies use or lose energy? We will focus and try to learn more on this first. It's highlighted in yellow. We're going to try to answer it soon or learn about it. And then number 3, we won't be ready for this, but eventually we're going to see, can being a vegetarian reduce global starvation? All right. Our last video left off on slide 12. So if you haven't yet, in your notebook, please write slide 12. And in the last video, we answered question number 1. So, if you have not answered question 1, make sure you go to the video before this so you know how to do question 1. Next, question number 2 is where we're ready for. So in your notebook, write slide 12. You should have number 1 answered. And now we're going to answer question 2. It says, how many servings of broccoli would you have to eat to equal a chicken breast? So how much broccoli do you have to eat so that it equals the same number of calories as a chicken breast? Well, a chicken breast is 170 calories for one serving. So if you eat one chicken breast, you get 170 calories or energy. Broccoli, if you eat one serving of broccoli, 1 cup is the serving. So you eat a cup of broccoli, it equals 30 calories. So the question is, how would you figure out how much broccoli to eat so that it equals 170? So this is what you must decide. Chicken. All right, so here's the calculation to answer number 2. You have 170 calories from chicken, and you need to divide that by the number of calories from one serving of broccoli. So you divide 170 into a 30. So how many times can the broccoli at 30 calories per serving go into 170? Your answer will actually tell you how many servings of broccoli you need to equal the amount to chicken. So doing this division, this simple division will tell you how many cups of broccoli you'd have to eat to equal 170 calories. All right, good luck. Number 3, it says, interpret what makes up most of the calories from the chicken thigh. So it says interpret. So we got to look at chicken thigh. We got to look at the data. So chicken thigh is 210 calories. What gives most of the calories out of the chicken thigh? So if the total calories or total energy from the chicken thigh is 210. If you read over this, what is giving the most amount of calories? So you got to look at carbs, protein, or fat. Okay? So what's giving you the most calories between fat, carbohydrates, or protein? So in your answer, you would say most calories come from blank. So you have 120 calories coming from fat. You have none coming from carbohydrates, and you have 21 grams of protein. So we don't know how much calories is coming from the protein, but we have 21 grams of protein, and we have 13 grams of fat. So we have to decide, what does this mean? So if you're interpreting the results, we know carbohydrates isn't the answer because it says 0. There's no carbs in the chicken thigh. And if we interpret, we only know that 120 calories is coming from the thigh. So 120 calories out of 210. That's more than half. So more than half of the calories are coming from fat. So we don't know how many calories are coming from protein because the data table doesn't tell us. It only tells us how many grams of protein. So we have to go with what we know. So let's say most calories probably, so we're going to change this to probably come from fat. All right, let's move on. So it is important to check the nutritional facts on foods because we always want to know how much energy or calories we get from the food we eat. Now, if you're in nature, you don't know how many calories you're getting. You just know you have to eat plants or animals to stay alive in these food webs, right? But for humans, we keep track of how much energy we get because we need to know if we're getting enough. And this tells you, percent daily value tells you when you get enough of the energy you need. We generally know that you need between 2,000 and 2,600 calories. And if you eat something that for the serving only gives you 200, well, you need to eat a lot more energy that day to feel healthy and strong and ready to go. What do we do with this food energy, though? And do we really fully understand this? So the question is, do you fully understand your nutritional facts and how much calories you get from it? Most people order food, and we don't always ask how many calories you get, like a sweet coffee drink, right? So you order your coffee drink, you may be wondering, how many calories? Well, here you go. A typical coffee cup may have like 680 calories. What do you use those calories for? Well, you need it to get through your day. You may need it to exercise. A lot of exercising takes lots of calories, right? Also, it produces body heat, and body heat is a form of energy that you lose as you're active each day. So you really can't see, but body heat is constantly losing it out of our bodies. It releases through our skin into the atmosphere, and exercising is using those calories. We're also using those calories to take care of all the body parts of our brain. We need energy or calories to feed our brain, lung, heart, liver, kidneys, all the cells of our body, including our muscle cells, right? We need them all. In the future, we're going to be spending a lot more time focusing on carbohydrates as well as proteins and fats, okay? And you can always calculate how much your body may need of all of these things. It's all mixed up in the food we eat. All right, so keep this in mind. When we eat food, it's used as energy, but not all of it is stored in our body. A lot of what we eat actually is lost as body heat when we exercise, when we're active, and some is lost as waste or feces. So a lot of the energy in the food we don't even digest. We release it and we flush it down the toilet through feces. This is slide 14. Let's copy this down. Slide 14. Copy everything in the box, and you're good to go. All right, so while you're eating, like I'm eating right now, some walnuts. So make sure in your notebook you write slide 15 and think about the energy you get when you eat. On slide 15, we have this pink box. It says only 1 to 3% of all the energy from our food is gained. Period. Why? Well, copy this down. It says because the rest of the food energy is lost due to uneaten portions. We don't eat everything. Or maybe we don't digest everything, like this owl did not digest the skull. We also lose energy all the time through body heat. You can see the body heat leaving. Sometimes when we wear clothes, maybe it helps us conserve body heat. And we also lose energy through our feces, like this wonderful emoji, right? So for slide 15, this is slide 15. Make sure you copy this down. And check this graphic out. We have a little food chain here. We have someone, let's say a mountain lion ate a person. If a mountain lion eats this dude, only 1 to 3% of the energy from this guy will get absorbed and stored in the body of this mountain lion. The mountain lion will lose a lot of the energy that it gets from this person because while it exercised and while it was walking around and hiking around, it loses body heat energy. So it's constantly losing energy through body heat. It also doesn't get all the calories from its prey because it can't digest everything from hair and nails and bones. Also, once it does eat, it may not eat all of the portions. So just like we don't always finish our plate, the mountain lion won't eat all the calories of this prey. This is a real picture of a mountain lion attack, by the way. This gentleman was bit numerous times and was lucky to survive a mountain lion attack. So when you eat something, or if a mountain lion eats prey, it only gets 1 to 3% of the energy transferred to it, where it gets to use it to stay alive and take care of its body. All the rest is lost as feces, uneaten portions, or body heat. All right, this is slide 17. Slide 17 is a worksheet we'll be doing in class, don't worry. But if you missed that day and you missed getting it done, maybe you can listen to the instructions here, and so you know how to get it done as homework so you can catch up. So we have a food chain here, And the instructions say place a plant, herbivore, carnivore, and top carnivore in the food chain bubbles below. So you'd place a plant here, an herbivore here, because a herbivore eats plants. Then you'd put a carnivore here that's going to eat the plant eater or the herbivore. And then you put a top carnivore, something that's like the top of the food chain, right? And next it says, the curving arrows leading away from the food chain need to be labeled. These are the curving arrows. If the curving arrow is green, that means you need to label the green arrow uneaten portions. Remember, there's 3 different ways energy is lost: uneaten portions, body heat, or feces. So we just want to recognize in the food chain, we want to show ways energy is lost. So you'd put uneaten portions for any of the green arrows. If the curving arrow is red, we would put body heat. And if it's golden colored, we'd say waste material, like feces. In fact, I'll put that in the worksheet. Let's write feces. Okay. Once you've done that, once you've labeled the arrows in showing that along a food chain, energy is lost every step of the way because of body heat, energy loss. Not everything is eaten, and so sometimes it's pooped out as feces or expelled. And we don't always eat all of what we can. So the top carnivore isn't going to eat every single part of this animal. Therefore, it doesn't get all the energy. Next, it says, show by calculating only 10% of energy, the calories from each organism, is passed on due to energy loss. Energy loss. So what we have to do is we have to calculate 10% of each step of the energy and fill in these little blanks. We can do this, okay? So first of all, we'd start with 10,000. So from the sun to the plant, or the plant. So you put plant in here. We need to calculate what percent of energy this plant's going to get, 10,000. And then once we figure that out, we'll know how much energy the herbivore gets. So when the herbivore eats the plant, we'll know what is 10% of that. So let's calculate that. All right, so we start with 10,000 units of energy from the sun. How much energy, if only 10% goes from the plant to the herbivore, what is 10% of 10,000? So we take 10,000 and then we multiply it by 0.10. That's how you calculate with percent. So 10% would be transformed into 0.10, and then we hit equal. That'd be 1,000. That means of the original 10,000 calories the plant received, the herbivore here would only get 1,000 units of energy, or calories. And then next you got to calculate what would be 10% of 1,000. That's how much the carnivore gets here. So you take 1,000, you multiply it by 10%, which is 0.10, and you get 100. And then you need to calculate 10% of 100, and you'd get the amount that the top carnivore gets. What you should notice at this point is that over each step of a food chain, energy is lost. In fact, every step, 10% of energy is transferred only. So of all this energy, only 10% of it goes to the herbivore, only 10% of this energy goes to the carnivore, and only 10% of the carnivore, or 100 calories, only 10% of that 100 will go to the top carnivore. So even though it's great to be the top predator, you can see the higher up the food chain you are, the less calories you got from the original sun. All right, secondary consumers. Humans are generally secondary consumers. Most humans eat plants and animals, and a perfect example of that is a burger that contains plants and animal, or cow, beef, right? This is the fun task for you. I want you to see how effectively you can identify who makes each burger below. Can you do it? Remember, this is slide 18. So go ahead and pause and see if you can figure out who makes each burger here. Good luck. All right, the last thing for slide 18 is to list how your body currently is using energy. So in your notes, you would write slide 18. See if you can identify who makes each of these burgers. If you win it, I'd be very impressed. No one has ever gotten it. And then create a list of 4 things of how your body is using energy currently, such as listening to video.